A few years ago, a financial planner shared something that stuck with me. She said the most stressed clients weren't the ones earning the least. They were the ones earning between $100,000 and $200,000 per year. She described one couple in particular, combined income of $175,000. On paper, they should have been thriving. In reality, they had $1,400 in savings, $38,000 in credit card debt, 2 car loans, and a mortgage that consumed 42% of their take-home pay. They came to her office because they couldn't figure out where the money went each month. It all just disappeared. She then described another client, a single woman earning $54,000 per year, working as an office administrator. This woman had $85,000 in savings, zero debt, a fully funded emergency account, and was investing 15% of every paycheck into index funds. She came to the financial planner not because she was in trouble, but because she wanted to optimize her already solid position. Same city, same cost of living. The person earning 3 times less had 60 times more savings. The financial planner told me she sees this pattern every single week. The difference is never income. The difference is always rules. The first couple operated on instinct. They earned money and spent money and hoped the math would work out. The second woman operated on a system, a set of non-negotiable money rules that governed every financial decision she made. Not complicated rules, not rules that required a finance degree. Simple rules that anyone could follow, but almost nobody does. Today, I'm going to walk you through the practical money rules that financially stable people follow consistently. These are the actual operating principles that separate people who always have money from people who never do, regardless of income. And I'll start with the rule that creates the foundation for everything else. Rule 1. Pay yourself first and make it invisible. Most people interpret this wrong. They think it means try to save something after your bills are paid. That's actually paying yourself last. Paying yourself first means your savings leave your account before you see them, before you can spend them, before you even register the money existed. The day their paycheck hits, an automatic transfer moves a fixed percentage to a separate savings account. They never touch it. They never adjust it downward. They built their entire lifestyle around what remains after the transfer, not before it. This works because of the endowment effect. You feel the loss of something you possess far more than you feel the absence of something you never had. If $500 transfers automatically before you check your balance, you never possessed it. There's nothing to lose. The specific percentage matters less than the consistency. 5% done consistently for 30 years will outperform 20% done sporadically. The key is automation. Remove yourself from the equation entirely. You cannot spend what you cannot see. Rule 2. Build your emergency fund before anything else. Every financial crisis I've ever witnessed could have been absorbed by 6 months of expenses sitting in a savings account. The car breakdown that triggers a credit card spiral, the job loss that leads to missed mortgage payments, the medical bill that creates a debt cascade lasting years. An unexpected expense arrives and there's no buffer. An emergency fund isn't exciting. It doesn't grow rapidly, but it makes you unbreakable. The target is 6 months of essential living expenses. Calculate your rent, utilities, food, transportation, and insurance. Multiply by 6. If that number feels overwhelming, start with 1 month, then build to 2, then 3. Every month of buffer is a month of breathing room. Keep this money in a high-yield savings account. Not invested, not in crypto. This money has one job: be available instantly when everything goes wrong. Rule 3. Follow the 503020 framework until you've memorized it. Most people have no framework for allocating money. 50% of your after-tax income goes to needs: housing, utilities, groceries, transportation, insurance, and minimum debt payments. 30% goes to wants: restaurants, entertainment, hobbies, vacations, upgrades, subscriptions. 20% goes to savings and debt repayment. This 20% is what separates people who build wealth from people who don't. The specific percentages aren't sacred. The point is having a deliberate allocation rather than spending randomly and hoping something remains. Most people who feel broke aren't actually broke. They're allocating 70% to wants and 5% to savings without realizing it because they've never measured. Rule 4. Eliminate high-interest debt with focused intensity. Not all debt is equal. A mortgage at 3.5% is fundamentally different from credit card debt at 24%. The mortgage is a tool. The credit card debt is an emergency. A $10,000 credit card balance at 24% interest takes over 25 years to pay off and costs more than $18,000 in interest. You pay back nearly 3 times what you borrowed. This is why financially stable people treat high-interest debt like a house fire. Not something to manage gradually, something to extinguish immediately. The avalanche method works best. List all debts from highest interest rate to lowest. Throw every available dollar at the highest one first. The snowball method targets the smallest balance first. It costs more in interest but provides psychological momentum. Either method works. Just choose one and execute. Every month, high-interest debt exists. It's destroying your wealth. A $10,000 balance at 24% burns $200 per month in interest alone. Rule 5. Never spend more than 30% of income on housing. This single rule prevents more financial disasters than perhaps any other. Lenders will approve mortgages consuming 40% or even 45% of your income. They'll tell you you're qualified. But qualification and comfortable affordability are very different. When housing consumes 40%, everything else gets compressed. You can't save. You can't absorb surprises. You can't invest for retirement. At 30% or below, there's margin. One bad month doesn't create a cascade. A car repair doesn't trigger credit card debt. The people who stretched for the bigger house often end up house poor. Beautiful home, empty bank account, constant stress. The people who chose housing below their approved amount end up with the opposite. Modest home, growing investments, genuine financial peace. Rule 6. Automate everything that can be automated. Human discipline is unreliable. We are inconsistent, emotional, and easily distracted. Every recurring bill should be on autopay. Every savings contribution automatic. Every investment purchase happening without your involvement. When finances run on automation, the right things happen whether you're motivated or not. Whether you're having a great week or a terrible one. Automation eliminates late fees. The average household pays over $300 per year in late fees, not because they can't afford it, because they forgot. Rule 7. Maintain a 1-month buffer in your checking account. This prevents the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle, even when your income timing is irregular. Most financial stress comes from timing mismatches. The rent is due on the 1st, but the paycheck arrives on the 5th. A 1-month buffer eliminates timing stress entirely. You're always spending last month's money on this month's expenses. Building this buffer requires patience. Reduce spending slightly each month and leave the difference. Within a few months, it builds naturally. Rule 8. Review your subscriptions every 90 days. The subscription economy is designed to extract money from you through inattention. The average American spends over $200 per month on subscriptions. Most estimate about $80. The gap exists because each one is small enough to ignore. Every 90 days, identify every recurring charge. Ask, did I actively use this in the last 30 days? If not, cancel it immediately. Most people discover that canceling forgotten subscriptions produces no lifestyle change and $100 or more in monthly savings. That's $1,200 per year. Rule 9. Use the 2-4-hour rule for any purchase over $50. Impulse spending is the single largest wealth destroyer for middle-income earners. Not because individual purchases are catastrophic, but because the pattern repeats hundreds of times per year, each time seeming too small to matter. Any non-essential purchase over $50, wait 24 hours, leave the store, close the browser, come back tomorrow if you still want it. Research shows roughly 70% of impulse purchases are abandoned after a 2-4 hour delay. The desire that felt urgent reveals itself as temporary. Over a year, this rule saves most people $2,000 to $5,000. Not through deprivation, through distinguishing between wanting something and wanting it enough to still want it tomorrow. Let me tell you about someone who applied these rules. Marcus was 34, earning $68,000 per year as an IT specialist. He had $3,200 in savings, $12,000 in credit card debt, $22,000 on a car loan, and $800 per month in subscriptions he'd accumulated over 6 years. His finances were what most people would call normal. He paid his bills mostly on time and figured he'd start saving seriously eventually. Then his company announced layoffs. Marcus wasn't laid off, but the experience terrified him. He realized that if he'd lost his job on a Friday, he'd have been in financial crisis by the following Friday. He started implementing the rules one at a time. Month 1, he set up automatic transfers. 15% of each paycheck moved to savings before he could touch it. Month 2, he audited his subscriptions. The $800 included a gym he hadn't visited in 8 months. 3 streaming Sir, he cut $480 per month in 45 minutes. Month 3, he started the avalanche method on his credit card debt. Month 4, he implemented the 2-4-hour rule. In the first month alone, he avoided $340 in purchases he would have made impulsively. 18 months later, Marcus had eliminated all $12,000 in credit card debt. He had $14,500 in emergency savings. He was contributing 15% to retirement. His net worth improved by over $40,000 in a year and a half. The part that surprised him most? His daily life felt essentially identical. He didn't feel deprived. He didn't miss the canceled subscriptions. The only change was the absence of financial stress he'd carried so long he'd stopped recognizing it. Rule 10. Never co-sign anything. When you co-sign a loan, you accept 100% of the financial liability with 0% of the control. The borrower can miss payments or default entirely, and every consequence falls on you. Your credit drops. Collection agencies call you. Statistically, over 75% of co-signed loans eventually require the co-signer to make payments, 3 out of 4. If someone can't qualify for a loan independently, a lender with sophisticated risk models has determined they're unlikely to repay. Your signature just shifts the risk to you. Rule 11. Invest consistently regardless of market conditions. The biggest predictor of investment success isn't timing or stock selection, it's consistency. People who invest the same amount every month outperform people who try to time their entries and exits. This is called dollar cost averaging. When prices are high, your fixed contribution buys fewer shares. When prices are low, it buys more. Over time, you automatically buy more at lower prices. The S&P 500 has returned roughly 10% annually over the last century. That includes wars, depressions, recessions, pandemics, and every crisis imaginable. Someone who invested $300 per month for 30 years at that average return would accumulate over $680,000. Time in the market beats timing the market. This isn't just a saying, it's a mathematical certainty over sufficient time horizons. Rule 12. Keep your lifestyle at least 2 raises behind your income. Here's the trap. The raise arrives, and the lifestyle expands to match it immediately. Sometimes, the lifestyle expands before the raise through credit. Financially stable people direct the majority of each raise to savings. A $5,000 raise means $3,500 more investing, and perhaps $1,500 in lifestyle improvements. The alternative? They get the same raises, expand spending to match, and despite earning $80,000, their margin stays frozen at $5,000. They ran faster without moving forward. Let me bring this full circle. That administrator earning $54,000 with $85,000 in savings wasn't lucky. She simply followed rules like these with boring consistency for 7 years. The couple earning $175,000 wasn't stupid. They were operating without rules in a world designed to separate you from every dollar you earn. Every ad, subscription, financing offer, and limited time deal is engineered to move money from your account to someone else's. Without rules, you're playing defense against an entire economy. Every ad, subscription, financing offer, and limited time deal is engineered to move money from your account to someone else's. Without rules, you're playing defense against an entire economy. With rules, the game changes. You stop reacting and start operating from a system that protects you automatically. The money stops disappearing. Financial stability isn't a destination you arrive at when you earn enough. It's an operating system you install right now, at whatever income level you currently have. The rules don't care what you earn. They work at $35,000. They work at $350,000. It won't work out on its own. It never does. But with the right rules, it doesn't need to.